So I am going to be making some videos on the channel when it comes to me talking about certain characters that I want in the next Super Smash Bros. Game. And when it comes to those characters, it's mainly characters that's been on my mind for quite some time. So there could potentially be a character on here that probably catches you off guard where you're like, holy crap, you know, why is he talking about that character? But today, as you guys can clearly see, I'm going to be talking about Pauline, because Pauline has been getting a lot of attention lately, especially when it came to Donkey Kong Bonanza as of recent with that game. I mean, that game was super fun. I love that game. I could honestly go back and replay that game at any time. That's how much fun I had with it. But I feel like Pauline should be in the next Super Smash Bros. Game. And I'm going to be talking about why I think she should be in the next game and everything. I'm not going to dive like super deep into movesets and everything. I'll obviously talk about things that they could possibly do when it comes to that. But I just mainly want to talk about why she deserves to be in the next Smash game. So if you guys have any thoughts of your own when it comes to Pauline and Smash, if you guys have a moveset idea of your own, or any other characters that you want to see in Smash as well, let me know in the comments. But without further ado, let's talk about Pauline in Super Smash Bros. When it comes to Pauline, I feel like she's one of those characters that people don't immediately think about when it comes to Smash. But the more I actually sit down and think about it, the more it just makes sense, especially when you look at where she started and where she is now. Because if you go all the way back, she was there in the original Donkey Kong, and that already shows that she's been a part of Nintendo since the very beginning. And even though I wasn't around back then, you still understand how important that is. Because that game is one of those classics that helped shape everything. And Pauline being part of that means she's always been there. She just didn't get the same attentions as characters like Mario or Donkey Kong. So over time, she kind of just faded into the background. But then you start seeing her pop up again in different ways, like the sports games and Mario Kart. And it feels like she's slowly being brought back without making it a big deal at first. And then everything really changes when she shows up as the mayor in New Donk City and Super Mario Odyssey, because that's when people really started paying attention to her again. And now with Donkey Kong Bonanza, where she's actually a main character alongside Donkey Kong going on an adventure with him, that's when it really hits that she's not just showing up here and there anymore, she's actually important again. And when a character gets to that point, that's when Smash usually starts looking at them. So when I think about the next Super Smash Bros. Game, Pauline is one of those characters that just keeps coming to mind. Because when Smash adds new fighters, they usually pick characters that actually matter in some way, whether that's because of their history or because of what they're doing right now. And Pauline lines up with both of those things. She's been around since the beginning, and now she's finally getting real attention again. And that's something Smash always leans into, because they don't just pull characters out of nowhere. They usually look at who Nintendo is actually pushing or who people are talking about. And Pauline has been getting more attention over the years. I also feel like it would make sense to have her represent the Donkey Kong side of things, especially after Donkey Kong Bonanza, because she played such a big role in that game. And it would be cool to give that side of Nintendo another character in Smash instead of always going back to the same ones. And honestly, whenever the next Smash does happen, especially if it ends up being on the next Nintendo system, which of course is the Nintendo Switch 2 that we currently have right now, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Pauline ends up being one of those new characters, because everything about how she's being used lately just feels like it's building up to something bigger. Now, when it comes to her moveset, I feel like this is where things could actually get really interesting, because even though she's not a traditional fighter, Smash is always creative with how they build characters. And when you look at what she does in Donkey Kong Bonanza, you can already start to picture how that would translate over. One of the biggest things is her singing, because it actually played a role in that game, and I feel like that could easily turn into something unique in Smash, whether it's attacks that use sound or abilities that affect other fighters, because Smash always likes to give characters something that makes them stand out. You could also pull from her other appearances too, like the sports games or Mario Kart, just to give her a little bit more variety. because Smash usually mixes different versions of a character together instead of just sticking to just one. And Pauline has been in enough things now where that actually works. And when it comes to how she would look in the game, I would probably just go with her kid version from Donkey Kong Bonanza to keep things simple. And then from there, you can bring in a stage from that game too, because that's something Smash always does with new characters. And there's definitely enough there to make her feel like a full edition. So I really hope that Pauline gets into the next Super Smash Bros. Game, because you could do so many things with her when it comes to what I talked about in this video if you want to pull from the sports games or Mario Kart. But I feel like for the most part, when it comes to how Smash would structure her moveset, it would probably be Donkey Kong Bonanza. Like when it comes to those musical notes that she was singing, like you could easily use that as like an attack if you're going up against somebody in Smash. Like there's a lot of creative things that you could pull from that game and just make a moveset out of it when it comes to, you know, just the up B, the down B, the side attacks, you know, the aerial attacks, things along the lines of that. If you guys know the Smash movesets with how they work, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's just a lot of things that they could do with that, and I feel like that would definitely be the game that they would go to when it comes to just bringing everything there when it comes to Pauline. And I can already imagine a trailer where you have Donkey Kong in there, and then you just see Pauline showing up and everything, and it would just be super awesome. Like I cannot wait until we get to that point in the Switch 2's life cycle where we start getting Smash again. I don't know when that's going to be. It'll happen one day when the time comes, but it's just going to be super fun once we get there. And I'm hoping and I'm praying that Pauline is one of those characters, because I feel like she makes a lot of sense to be in the next Smash game. But if you guys have any thoughts on Pauline when it comes to your own ideas, when it comes to her being in Smash, when it comes to her moveset, stage ideas, anything that you guys have going through your head, let me know in the comments. We could talk about it, of course. And if you guys enjoy this video, as always, be sure to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. If you guys want to follow me on my social media, be sure to check out my X, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. All the links are located in the description below, so be sure to follow me on there. Also, if you guys want to check out my Discord server, be sure to click on the link that is pinned in the comment section so you can join my community and talk to other people. Be sure to click on that bell for notifications so you guys are notified whenever I'm dropping a new video on the channel. I hope all of you guys are having a fantastic day, wherever the day may be, if it's the daytime, the nighttime, or the evening. And I'll see you guys in the next video, as always.